Hello everybody, welcome to the CyberDev channel. You have started watching again the Spring Boot project. Today we are going to discuss a dynamic Spring Boot project. Please watch till the end, else you won't be able to understand anything. It is important to watch each and every part without skipping any of the part from the video. So I have prepared a slide. In fact, since we are going to have the Spring Boot dynamic web project, means this project is going to have the database connection. It is going to uh, validate the user's input. In a previous video we have gone for validating the user's input, but that was static. That video I will share in the suggestion box. Please refer to it. Here we are going to validate the user by connecting to the database. So in the machine whichever you are using, you must have the DBMS. We are using XAMPP or XAMPP, which is a bundle version of Apache server and MySQL. And we are going to get this in the URL which has been mentioned over here. Then number 2, we have to create a database in the DBMS. 3, JDK. 4, Eclipse. Then already we have created the Spring Boot application, so no need to mention. You need to have the Eclipse and the Spring Boot application. Again I am telling you, the previous project I will put it in the suggestion box. Number 2, you have to specify the database information inside application.properties. Number 3, that's optional thing. You have to specify the data definition language properties, that is DDL property. That means the table whichever you are going to use, that is going to be created automatically if uh, it doesn't exist. Then you can go for creating a class which is called as entity class, that is going to represent our table. And number 5, we are going to create an interface which is going to be called as repository, that is going to represent the database or the table to the application. Next, when you go for creating a dynamic web application with the help of database, you need to add 3 more dependency with the existing dependency whichever you are getting from spring.io. First one, Java Persistency API. Second, it is Spring Boot JPA dependency. Third, it is database connector dependency, whichever database you want to use. And finally, in the pom.xml, you have to add the dependency for this thing. As I said in the previous slide, you have to put these 3 dependency by going to the Maven repository. I will put this dependency in the suggestion box also, so that you can use it without searching in the Maven repository portal. So let us go to the Eclipse. So if you remember, if you have referred the previous project, in the previous video we had created a Spring Boot application which was validating the user ID and password with the help of a controller. That controller was not going for database connection, it was a static comparison. Now the same project I am going to use, but without disturbing the same project, I will go for making a copy of that project. Right click on the project, copy it, and in the same project explorer window you can paste it with a different name. I'll name it as Spring DB login. So it is going to create the project with the name as Spring DB login. So here it is going to be built. So here we have this src folder where this JSP files exist, and here is the Java resources where we had this main class and the servlet class with the controller which we have created previously. This is the controller which has this static comparison. There is no database comparison available over here. Now we will go for the enhancement of adding the database into this Spring Boot application. So for that, as I said, we have to edit this pom.xml. So already we have this dependency with the existing dependencies till this JSP compilation dependency or Jasper dependency you can say, which we have already added. Now from that screen I will copy these dependency, these three dependency which are there. These three dependency already I have created or downloaded from Maven repository to save the time. So save it, automatically it will add the jar files into the project. So better you go for right click, then Maven update project. This is always better to update the project whenever you add something extra into the pom.xml. So the pom.xml is ready. Then next step we have to use this properties file, application.properties file, to mention information about the database. So since I have gone for creating or in fact installing XAMPP in my Mac, we also can use it in the same way in Windows. In Mac it is going to be available in this format, means once the XMPP is installed, then this XMPP manager is going to be available, where you have to start this MySQL and Apache server, these two, with the help of the start button. If you are using Windows, then you will be having XMPP control panel. There will be an application after installing the XMPP. Wherever you will install, you will find the XMPP control panel, that you have to open and start again the same thing, Apache server and MySQL. Nothing great as far as operating system changes. So once this is started, then you can go to this I have created a database. So database I may remove this table which is already created, so that you will see what is going to happen once we will run the application. I'll drop the tables. I have created a database named as COVID-19. Okay, once you install the XMPP, you can go to the web browser, you can write down only localhost and press enter. You will end up in this screen. Go for PHP MyAdmin tab, then you can go for creating the database. In the database tab, here you can mention the database name. So already I have done this. I have created a database named as COVID-19. Sorry, these tables are not deleted. I will delete again. So this database, you can see now it is completely empty. Okay, so no table exists, you can see in the database. Now if I will go back to this properties file which I was talking about in the Eclipse, in the application.properties, here you have to mention which is the database we are going to use, what is the user ID, what is the password, what is the DDL information you have to supply. That 4 lines you have to add in this application.properties. So in the presentation which I have prepared, from that presentation itself I will copy these 3 lines, put it inside this properties application.properties file, and as well as this Hibernate DDL auto generation part, so that the tables will be created. So I save it. So now this application.properties also ready with pom.xml. Now starts the coding. We have already the controller part with the controller package. Now I will add a new package for entity. A package I will create first. For every table we need to have one class that is going to be called as entity. So new package, I'll mention in the end dot entities. It is not mandatory, you can use any name. So this package is created, and inside the package I will go for putting the entity class. Any number of entity class you can use as per the requirement of our project. So I right click on the package, go for creating class, which is going to be our entity class. Suppose I will say app users, any name you can mention. So that is going to have a table behind this application which is going to be created automatically. Let us mention annotation, so that you can say this is not an ordinary class, this is a entity class. So automatically the entity will be imported if we will go for using control space bar, not entity scan, is only entity. So this one is not required, control shift O. Okay, so the entity class is ready. Now I will put the variables which are going to be the part of table or column of the table. For that we need to use art generated art ID, which I have already mentioned in the so here art entity I mentioned. Now generated value and ID I will mention for the variable. Suppose I will say long, this is what is going to be the primary key, long ID string, any name, suppose for user ID, then again string password. So that part which I have copied from the presentation, I will paste over here. So and is not required. So here generated value, if you hover the mouse then you will get the import option. Generated value, generated type is auto, means it's going to generate this primary key which is named as ID as a auto generated long value, because we have mentioned the data type of this primary key as long. This is going to be ID, means this is a primary key. So all entities must have a primary key. It may not be named as ID, but a primary key has to be there. It can be named as ID, it can be named as something else. But this ID annotation is going to indicate the column as the primary key. So when the table is going to be created, there will be 3 columns as ID, user ID, password. Now I will go for putting the getter setter method inside this entity class. So right click on the code, source, getter setter, generate getter and setter. So select all, generate. So this getter setters are ready, the entity class is completed. Now the next step is going to be the repository interface. For the repository interface, again I will go for creating a package, new package. I clicked on the parent package, spring demo dot repositories. Again, it is not mandatory to name it as repositories, you can name it as anything. The package name is spring demo dot repositories. Finish. So this package got created. I'll right click it, it doesn't have anything, it is a blank package right now. I'll go for right click, then new, then interface. The repository is going to be an interface, not a class, remember it. So name it as anything. It's better to it's a good practice to use the entity name, then entity name I have used app users repository, so that when you will have lot of repository interface, you can easily recognize which one is belongs to which entity. So here I named it as app users repository. Finish. So this interface got created. It has to be a subclass of sub interface, in fact sub interface of JPA repository, so that you will get the CRUD operated methods, CRUD, CRUD methods you will get automatically. So JPA repository is going to accept 2 generics. One is the entity name, so entity name is app users in fact, which we have created as the entity, and the data type of the ID. So data type of the ID is long, we may use long here. So the repository is ready, but we have not mentioned what method we need for validation of user ID and password. Apart from the create, read, update, delete, it can contain the user defined method also. I will go for a method which will return app user and the method name is going to be find by user ID U capital, I capital, the variable name which you have mentioned, user ID, and in the and A capital, then password P capital. It will accept 2 variables, 2 arguments, string user ID and string password. So let us re-verify. In the app user, which is the entity, we have user ID as the variable and password as the second variable. So like that we have created user ID as the first argument and password as the second argument, and find by user ID and password. This is very specific, find by. You have to look at it. If you can pause the video, you can see find by B is capital, user ID U capital means the variables first letter is going to be capital, then and A capital, password P capital. This is a JPA specific method. We can mention the SQL command also, but without mentioning SQL command or not exactly SQL, it is called as JQL, JPA query language. In place of JQL, you can go for using JQL method also. So JQL method I have used. So our repository is ready, and next you have to go for using this repository method inside the controller class. So the login controller class which you have created, which has gone for comparing this static user ID and password, in this we have to go for dependency injection by using AutoAdd annotation. So the repository which you have created, that is named as app user control space app user repository. I'll copy this interface name, paste it, semicolon, a small, the app user repository. Then here I need an object of app user, which is the entity name. So I want to get the app user, find by user ID and password, this method which we have created right now inside the interface, which is going to accept the first argument as the user ID and password, which is being accepted through this argument. Next, in place of the static comparison with A and B, we can do one thing. We can test if this user object is blank or not null or null. If it is null, then the user ID and password are incorrect. So I will compare it. If it is not null, then go for returning success, else it return fail. That's much you have to do inside the controller class. Next, our job is done. You need to run the project. Let us go for running the project by clicking on this main class. In fact, so this is the main class Java file which contains the main method. Right click, run as Java application. So everything goes well, we will get the output. So here it has started in the port number 8080. Let us go to the database. So here this database which we have created recently, it has no table to show. Now let us click again the database name. So here you can see two tables now got created automatically. App underscore users, this is for the entity which you have created as app users, and this Hibernate sequence is auto generated table which is going to be created once for the entire application. Let us click on this app users table. You can see there is no data exist. You can go for this insert. You can insert a value into it. Suppose I'll say ABCD as the username, or in fact this is what is the password. I'll use XYZ as the password and ABCD as the username. So go. So here you will see, if you will go for browse, you will see password is XYZ, user ID is ABCD. Now since the database has the data and we have already started the application, you can go to the new tab in your browser, go for localhost :8080, and here is the output from index.jsp. So ABCD is the user ID, password is XYZ. This is the output from success.jsp, because we have provided correct user ID password. If we'll give something incorrect, either user ID or password, then we will end up with this fail.jsp. So this is how we can go for creating Spring Boot application by using backend or database. So here is the project. which has validation of user ID and password. I hope this can help you to go for announcement of the project into your required type of project. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to click on bell icon and subscription.